This week on Jersey Matters, well-known state Senator Jennifer Beck has a real fight for re-election. This week, she fights back against her opponent's attacks. Are progressives leaving the Democratic Party? We'll talk to a progressive Republican candidate for Congress. Where do you hear why she left the party? And sailing is taken off as a high school sport across America and in New Jersey. Those stories and a whole lot more because Jersey Matters. Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. It is a big political year in New Jersey, and in the 11th District, Jen Beck, the incumbent senator, has a challenger. Senator Beck joins us now from New Jersey's 11th Legislative District. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Last time you were here, we were talking about the gas tax, and you were vehemently fighting against the gas tax. There were yard signs everywhere that had your name to fight the gas tax. Your efforts failed in fighting the gas tax. We're stuck with it now. Is there any going back at this point?
I don't think so, no. They've floated bonds, they're moving forward with projects, but it is a travesty. It was a $1.3 billion tax hike, a very regressive tax hike. So the working poor, working class folks that have to commute to get to their jobs are now paying hundreds extra because most of them don't have high efficiency vehicles either. They're driving older vehicles. And
you told me something that I don't think a lot of people know, that this is going up again.
Oh, yes. August 1st of each year for the next 8 years, the state treasurer determines whether or not the gas tax has raised the $1.3 billion it was supposed to. If it has not, he or she automatically raises that gas tax again.
And that's law. There's no going back on that either.
No, that is the state statute. And I expressed very real concern at the time because, of course, when things are a higher price, people use less of it, right? So instinctively, you could see where each and every year we now have additional tax hikes.
You have a Democratic challenger that's getting a lot of press, and they're calling your district competitive this year between you and Vin Gopal. Vin Gopal was here a couple of weeks ago, and he brought up the gas tax, and he brought up some other issues and said that you've been inconsistent on this, that all of a sudden you were on one side of an issue that you were for your entire career.
Well, you know, Vin is known for his spin. He is really bought and paid for by the Camden County machine. His nickname has been Camden County Vin because he's taken so much money from the Camden County Democrats. I asked
him that too, by the way, and he said that's just not true. He said that's absolutely true. He said, I can show you our records. We get money from all over.
Well, he took in $1 million from the Camden County political machine over the course of his 4-year tenure as chairman of the Monmouth County Democrats. That's a lot of money, and it was the largest amount coming in to him during those 4 years. But look, I have been very clear on my positions, particularly on the fiscal issues that face Monmouth County. The property taxes are outrageous. We know that we have to address them, and there is low-lying fruit to do that. The Democrats and Republicans agree on. And yet many of these bills have languished under Democrat leadership, and it doesn't make any sense. For example, unused sick and vacation. We have a police chief in Jersey City retiring with 450 days of unused sick and vacation. It's $500,000, $500,000. And across the state, that story is repeated. It's a $2 billion property tax liability. And, you know, when we look at this issue, the unused sick vacation, a bill did pass the legislature, went to the governor's desk. He wanted a stricter bill. But in the fact that the compromise couldn't be reached, another $500 million in unused sick and vacation time has accumulated in the last 7 years. So the longer that we don't address it, the bigger property tax liability comes to roost. And we have to do it. We've got to fix it. It's basic. And both Democrats and Republicans are on the same page on this one.
And I'm glad you came in a couple of weeks after Vin Gopal was here, because I wanted you to be able to answer some of the things he said. One of the other things he claimed, and you can tell me if it's true, he said you were the only woman to vote against pay equity. He made a point of that. And he said you've been on the wrong side of women's issues in the state since you've been in office.
So the bill that he is referencing is actually an employer reporting bill. It requires every employer that has a contract with the state of New Jersey to report to the Department of Labor the name, age, gender, race, title, salary of every single employee they have that has any connection to the state contract. So global companies, AT&T, regardless of where these employees are, they have to give them all this information. To me, that's very onerous. I, of course, support equal pay for women. New Jersey actually has had, for 50 years, one of the most rigorous, progressive, aggressive laws against wage discrimination in the country. We are viewed as a thought leader on the issue of wage discrimination. And I support Lilly Ledbetter and, of course, support additional reforms, but he's simply trying to muddy the waters and spin something that's simply not true.
And one last thing, and I'm sorry I keep saying this,
sure.
but I think it's important for you to correct the record on some of these things. And he was the Democratic chair in Monmouth County, so he knows politics and he knows how to play politics. And one of the things he said is that you've carried the water for the governor for most of his tenure, and then at the end you've changed positions for political reasons. And I thought it was interesting when I heard him say it, because I would guess that is the exact same strategy they're going to use against Kim Guadagno if she gets the nomination. So if you think about it, it plays into a bigger Democratic strategy. I thought it was smart on his part to do that. You tell me if it's true.
So, look, from the time the governor took office, I've had my disagreements. The effort to roll back tolls, I fully supported. The governor opposed. The effort to close down Monmouth Park and Meadowlands, I fought against him on that. Family planning issues, I was one of the few to vote to override him on 2 different occasions. Hydraulic fracking, marriage equality. I've disagreed with him on a myriad of issues over the years. I might not always be sending out a glossy press release about it, but he and I have had very different views and had our differences over the years. In my district, and frankly, since I was elected in Red Bank to the town council, I've always been viewed as an independent voice, always. I got elected in a Democrat town because I'm an advocate for people, period. And that party is second. My residents are first, which is also why I'm elected to the state Senate in a district where there are 11,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. I'm not afraid to call people out when they're wrong, and that's one of the reasons the Democrats want to knock me out.
Are you welcoming this race?
Yes, well, I think, in my heart, I'm a competitor. I ran track and cross country for Boston College. I was a walk-on to their team many, many years ago, and was able to work very hard and eventually get a place as the co-captain of the team. And I think it's in my nature. So, yeah, and I feel like I have a strong record and people know me and they know I work on their behalf.
Well, I will tell you this, that I know from when you were here before, I can say that you fought vigorously against the gas tax, against the gas tax, and did for a long, long time. I appreciate you being here today.
Certainly, of course.
It was great to talk to you.
Good to see you.
Senator Jen Beck from New Jersey's 11th Legislative District. When we come back, another candidate, this person running for Congress against longtime Congressman Leonard Lance, when Jersey Matters continues.